So here we're in a field of soybeans that were planted approximately 5 days ago. This was a field where we just no-tilled the soybeans in because it's been too wet and we didn't have time to get the soil worked up. So these beans were no-tilled directly into this soil, and you can see we're just barely coming up now, approximately 5 days after planting. These beans already have their primary leaves out and they're beginning to have their secondary leaves. These primary leaves here are actually just the two halves of the soybean seed. So the actual seed is pushing out of the ground. Right here you can see that one that's coming up. Here's some others that are even less out of the ground. You can see they're yellow until the sunlight hits them and then they expand, but all that is just the bean seed that's pushing itself out of the ground. There's probably more, like you can see that one that's still in the process. That bean is still germinating, trying to push out of the soil. There's more that are on their way up. It's quite warm right now, so that's why this is moving so fast. If it were to be a cooler time of year, it would take a week or 2 weeks to get to this stage of growth. But as you can see, these beans here were planted about 1 inch to 1.5 inches deep in relatively dry conditions, but we got a very good rain immediately after planting, which helped tremendously. But you can see that bean, which right there is the layer where the seed would have originated. And then the seed pushed up from that layer. So we're about 1 inch to 1.5 inches deep at planting depth. You can see very good root growth in approximately 5 days since planting. So that will provide a lot of drought resistance as long as it gets the roots down deep before it dries out. You can see it's already starting to develop some nodules in very early stages. So this crop is going to have to go through a tough time over the next couple of months. It's going to be a very dry time of the year. Most likely will be very little rain, but hopefully by the time this crop reaches maturity, we'll be getting more rain in the fall, and that's kind of the idea of planting late beans like this, to put them in a time period when they will be maturing during a stage when the weather is much more favorable to them.